Right. There's thick. And then
Hello, my name is Malcolm Travers, and welcome to M3 Live. Male Media Mind is a grassroots organization dedicated to uplifting and unifying our community through dialogue, insight, creativity, and knowledge. And each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I invite my friends to help me break down topics that are usually kind of intellectual, philosophical, things around self-development, communication, relationships. And I get videos from content creators, scientists, philosophers, theologians, and I try to bullshit test them, basically making sure that my own biases are not clouding, how well I agree with the arguments that are being presented. So we'll hash it out as we discuss. We would love to get your input as well. We love to get your feedback. It actually helps us, fight the algorithm monsters. So please just say hello or something, it would be much appreciated. And let me introduce you to the panel. We got the talented Mr. Raiden joining us from the state of Atlanta. What's going on, Greg?
Oh, hello. No, it's nice to know that Atlanta is a state.
Yes, the entire state of Georgia is in Atlanta. It is.
Yes.
Even though I'm evidence of the contrary, but
when they were watching the election results last night and they talk about blue meccas, they never mention you guys. You guys are
it's a college town,
yeah. And it's a college town. So I'm gonna
really, really black college town.
Congratulations to Rick Jackson, Republican nominee for governor, who will face off against Keisha Lance Bottoms in November.
Yeah.
Go, Keisha, go. We'll talk more about that Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Saturday.
Yes.
Hosted by yourself, me, and these two of these three people will be.
It might be me too. I don't know.
Okay. That would cause him to have to wake up a little bit early on Saturday.
It was funny. Welcome, Devon. I had to put this anecdote down because I don't know if you saw this, but because it was before we were going live on Drunk Uncles, and we were having this lighting issue. I said, I can't see you, Devon. I said, well, I can see your face, but I can't see your beard. It's like I said, I can't see you. I can't see. We need to see the beard. No, just kidding. But no, Vaughn, every Sunday at 5 is rocking that amazing beard and talking shit about comics and movies and games. So get your life every Sunday at 5. And on Tuesdays at 7, we are kept up to date on everything that's going on the interwebs, on the TikTokies and the Tiki-Takis on the Swag Suite. Yes. How's it going, Swag?
It's going great. I cannot complain, so I shan't.
How did you get way down there today? You normally up somewhere else.
I think we just kind of
lucky, I guess.
Well, okay, so I usually start off with a invocation, a prayer at the beginning. Sometimes I don't, but this time I do. So we'll start off with our prayer.
On the dangers of deceptive arguments. God of truth, deliver us from the allure of clever tongues. Protect our minds from the deception of logic designed to win an intellectual theater while abandoning the vulnerable. Keep us grounded in the simplicity of our shared humanity and weary of any speech that prizes performance over genuine connection. Amen. On balancing accountability and grace. Divine community, guide us as we navigate the delicate tension between accountability and grace. Keep us from a rushed unity that demands quick forgiveness without true repair or remorse. Yet preserve us from a fatalism that refuses to believe in our capacity for change. Teach us to demand justice while holding space for our collective becoming. Amen. On culture, power, and capital. Just God, open our eyes to the histories etched into our culture. Reveal the truth of who held structural power and who extracted capital from the very communities that generated beauty from their sorrow. Let our remembrance of art be an act of resistance against the theft of our ancestral glory. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, let's do video 1.
Okay, let's get it.
Every conversation you've ever had was slightly wrong. Not because anyone lied, because language doesn't work the way that you think it does. There's a field of study called hermeneutics. It's the study of interpretation, how meaning moves or tries to move between one mind and another. And what it reveals changes how you hear every exchange that you've ever had. Words don't transfer meaning, they trigger it. When you speak, you're not sending your thought directly into someone else's mind. You're producing a signal. And the other person's mind uses that signal to construct whatever meaning it has the architecture to build. The meaning they receive is built from their history, their associations, their emotional state, their version of every word you used. It is never exactly what you meant to send. Think about the last time you were completely sure you said something clearly, and the other person heard something different. You weren't misunderstood because they weren't paying attention. You were misunderstood because perfect understanding was never available. Hermeneutics calls this the interpretive gap, the space between what is said and what is heard. It exists in every conversation without exception. It cannot be closed, only narrowed. Now here's what makes this strangely beautiful instead of just frustrating. The people you feel most connected to, the ones where talking feels effortless, aren't people who hear you perfectly. They're people whose interpretive gap happens to align so closely with yours that the distance almost disappears. Connection isn't perfect understanding. It never was. It's finding someone whose version of you is close enough to the truth that you can live inside it. So here's what's worth sitting with. Every person who has ever loved you has loved a slightly imperfect version of who you are, and you have done the same for them. Does that make it less real, or does it make it more remarkable that it works at all?
Yeah. So I'm actually, that's one of the themes today is talking about consequences and holding people accountable and giving people grace. And I think hermeneutics is a really interesting lens on which you can view this, which is every communication is ambiguous. You can make a positive interpretation or a negative interpretation. And I say love is the act of choosing the positive interpretation. Like actually just saying, like, I really don't know. It could be either or, but I'm going to choose to think they meant the best whenever they say something. You know, I'm not saying that I don't know that they could have meant the other thing, but because I think I don't know. That's how I see love as an active act. Every time you listen to someone, to choose the most gracious interpretation of what they meant or said. It also has the added benefit of not fucking making you upset. So, you know, on top of that, it also reminds you don't really know what the person meant. There's always that interpretive gap, which is kind of interesting. Hermeneutics actually originates from studying religion. I cringe a little bit every time we talk about the fact that homosexuality was not in the Bible until the 1950s, because the word homosexuality wasn't invented until the 1950s. You understand? Like, the concept of homosexuality came out of, you know, studies of sexuality that happened in the 50s, and they coined the term homosexuality. And it maps onto what we understand now, but culturally does not link to what people thought during the Bronze Age, right? And so that's the interpretive gap of religion is really difficult because you have to, you know, transfer time and culture and the meanings of words. It's very subjective, right? And so many people do. They choose. I think that's one of the things, the reason why we have so many interpretations of the Bible is because I think certain interpretations jive with other people better. There's always that gap between what it means and what it is. And so on a certain level, maybe even unconsciously, they choose to believe this interpretation of it and it feels right to them. And so, I mean, I don't know, but that's hermeneutics in religion. But you can apply the concept of hermeneutics in your everyday interactions with people, just understanding that there's never full understanding. It's not possible.
Well, I'm going to take the mean girl route with this one. Mean girl route is, you know, I've always been the one to reach for understanding. If you will, you know, so
Mhm.
always.
Yeah.
Now I just choose violence. I mean,
No.
I don't care what their underlying meaning was, because at this old age of 53, I think about things before I say them.
Yeah.
So, you
And
know,
you say, I meant that shit. I meant that shit.
whole chest. Right. So,
Oh, no, that wasn't an outburst. I wanted to say that.
Somebody had know they post. Of course, I proofread them from spelling and grammar, but
I'm
not.
always second guessing myself. It's true. I'm sorry. I guess that's where I'm different. But
Oh, you do? You do kind of?
yeah, I do. I have the.
You care?
But maybe. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to be swag spokesman on this one. I think with swag, you got to get what you get. Like, bitch, I said it. And the fact that he says it so nicely, Malcolm, this is, you know, because he's like, bitch, I said what I said.
His face.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you were very, so when the man was talking, you're the first person I thought about. You know what I'm saying? Because you're very intentional with your words. You know, I think you're very intentional. And, you know, I know a couple people like that, but it's the delivery. You're so sweet with, I said no. You know, and thing is like, I said no and I meant no. You know, I'm a little more King Kong with it. No, goddammit. And that's it. But I think what the gentleman is saying in the video is, I think that's how we got here as a country, not really taking the time to. So I do know what Malcolm means, and I try not to use violence, but it's so hard. People make it hard. Like I start today's Wednesday. You know what I mean? We live in Atlanta, so listen. Today's Wednesday, so I started picking out Thursday stories for my show.
Yeah.
And, you know, how do you make good news out of no fucking good news? You know, you have to go and read the underlying meaning of the story, and you have to extract what's good for your audience. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's hard trying to be a good person and extracting good things from right?
Yeah.
So Malcolm, if you know after you say the clarifying statement, like, well, what? Well, by golly gee, what did you mean? And they'd be like, bitch, I said what I said. What is your next response?
Not by golly gee, what do you mean?
I don't know. So, you know, this is one of those reasons why I enjoy talking rather than texting. Because I read every possible meaning into everything I read, and it's kind of exhausting. You know, because I was thinking,
do that quickly.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I'm straining with my eyes. It's just like a frustrating experience all around. Although I have started using screen readers. You know, like the AI readers help a lot. But yeah. It's really cool for comic books too. Like you can actually read, it will describe what the panels say. Yeah.
Let me
so it's pretty cool.
You are a very, very smart person. I don't give myself enough time to do all that. It's like however I feel about it the first time I see it or read it.
Right. I do overthink things. It's true.
Well, no, it's not.
I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop, honestly.
Yeah, but that's not bad though. At least you get the best out of the conversation. Because me, you know, I'm in an Uber. I'm on the way to your house with a pistol. You know. Really.
Okay, let's. Okay, so like I said, I'm changing this a little bit. So I got a video. I just basically asked Google. Actually, I think I'd switched to Claude. So I switched to Claude for these questions, and I asked it basically to like view it through a black and queer lens, basically. And let's see what it says. Oh, these are the questions.
Okay, I'm sorry. So questions for reflection. Where in your life are you constantly misread and by whom? Good God Almighty. Let's start with that one. That's a pretty low. start with Swag. What in your life do you think like you're constantly or misread?
Where do I feel like I'm what?
Where you're constantly misunderstood or misread in your life?
That is a good question.
I think that y'all.
I think sometimes I come off as like, because because I do try to lead with kindness and stuff like that. I think a lot of times people interpret that as weakness. And so, there have been opportunities where people, try me, and it's just like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I don't know. I think that's something, and I've pushed back on that several times. Like sometimes people will try me, and it's just like, I didn't know you was like that. And it's just like, it's not that I'm trying to be this way. My mom always say like, see, you too nice, and see when you get pushed, then it's like, yeah.
Oh, says the sweetest woman in the universe.
So I think sometimes my kindness does come off as like weakness, and that is something that I constantly have to work on.
So Malcolm, I pose the same question to you, and go ahead and put the questions back up so I can move to number 2. But so Malcolm, where have you in your life have constantly been misread and by whom?
I think most of the time, ironically talking about, politics or religion. And I used to avoid talking about both, but I'm fascinated by both, and it's kind of rough. and the reason being is that I think people have their own facts, and and so I have to let go.
Facts are not debatable. Facts are not
right. Right, exactly, and that's like the end of the conversation sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, okay, yeah, we're not gonna.
Who is the person that constantly?
Well, I mean, ironically, they both kind of met at church. Like I used to, I used to teach Bible study at church, and the funny thing is, I taught classes about hermeneutics. So, it's kind of ironic that I saw this come up again, and I was just like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But those were where I met a lot of conservatives at church, and it was both around religion and politics that.
So, take a step away before we move on to question 2. My problem with the conservative and religious thing is Jesus was an immigrant who, was I don't know, and they would kind of not welcome Jesus in this current climate. I digress. So,
it's true. It's true. Hold on, Swag, put up the G1 because it actually has it all spoken. So just go ahead and play the video.
The interpretive gap isn't a failure of communication. It's the condition of it. But the gap isn't equal for everyone. For Black and LGBTQ individuals, the explanatory gap isn't just philosophical. Consider work. A Black employee flags a microaggression and is told they misread the room. Or a queer person codes their language around family during a team meeting, editing themselves in real time because the architecture their colleagues used to receive meaning was never built with them in mind. In relationships, a Black man expresses emotional pain and it lands as anger. When your experience has no shared vocabulary, you're not just misunderstood, you're untranslatable. So here are questions worth sitting with. Where in your life are you consistently misread, and by whom? Are there spaces where you've stopped trying to close the gap, and what did that cost you? What would it mean to build relationships with people whose interpretive architecture was shaped by experiences closer to yours?
Now, for me, I'm going to also say that I try to make myself undoubtedly clear. I try not to leave room for interpretation, especially when you're in a work environment. It's always best, to try to clarify all statements, so you won't leave any stone unturned, if you will.
Right.
I think that's the problem, especially, here on M3. All of our shows have different personalities, but Malcolm, you and I tend to have to get into the, I call them the grown people stuff. We get into topics, right? Swag gets to have fun. Swag gets to have fun. And on Mondays, I get to have fun. But on Saturdays and tonight, We talk about
It can, you know, what's so funny is it can sometimes actually be exhausting to be vulnerable so much and to talk about like personal things. I remember sometimes like at the end of our show, I'd be like, oh, I take off my bra. I felt like I needed to take off my bra.
so
I'm like, oh God, I'm tired.
you have not realized that it's now 2 hours, which is
right.
Which is a lot of show. And I often feel that way at the end of that show, and I feel that way off of this one because I always tell friends, I'm gonna talk about you in your face right now. So we always say, oh my God, you're gonna do a model show tonight. Ugh. You know why? It's because you right. Because you're forcing me to think about
yeah.
You forced me to think about shit that I packed away long ago. Why am I being tortured and beat in such a manner that I want to talk to friends about it? And that's the case when you get into mental psyche.
I mean, it's how you end up being a better person. It's like actually instead of like instead of like assuming that people know a certain thing, like being able to communicate it, actually have the words and the language to speak it. Because here's the problem: like sometimes, and this is true. A perfect example of the topic of hermeneutics. Talking to men about their feelings is almost impossible because they don't have the language to interpret what you're talking about feelings. And so instead of talking to men about their feelings, talk to them about what those feelings make them want to do.
Well, because we're taught as men to put them down, put them to the side,
Yeah, they can't even describe them because they haven't had regular conversations about their feelings. So it's just uncomfortable, and there isn't that understanding about feeling words.
You're right, bro. Comically, Tuesday night we talk about that with what are not okay. And comically,
it's very true.
We dig into that, but they're constantly being told that you cannot do this in this community, or you're going to be a part of that community. You know what I mean? And they're constantly, especially men. We are constantly told in the straight community it is incredibly zesty to do X, Y, Z. We have about 385 reasons why, in oppressing, and then that's another reason why Wednesday nights are hard, because it forces me to think about things that I don't want to think about, and that's really hard because I feel of the male persuasion. Whether it be queer, I still have a thought process of somewhat of a I can never remember meeting this in public, but I do have a linear thought about things. Unga bunga. I just want to eat and sleep and shit. That's it.
You know what? This is so funny. Is that's what my great grandmother would tell me all the time.
Yeah.
She said, that's all you do is eat, sleep, and shit.
Because my mother,
you don't do that, but you sleep and shit. Get up, you do something.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's funny, that's what we're told. Because emotions, if we have too many emotions at work, we're starting trouble. You know what I mean? And even in romantic situations, I feel as though if you have too many emotions, your likewise black partner might be like ill.
Yeah. You're not wrong about that. I think most of the problems in the gay community stem from the fact that we're men. Just being honest, because we're just awful. We're not great. It's actually like
I didn't want to say that directly, but it's true.
It is true. I say it all the time. I say it on TikTok all the time. I'm like, I'm a man, and I will tell you, we are terrible. We are. I understand why women choose to bear.
We are awful. We are.
We're terrible. This is so man enough to admit that.
Oh God.
Men are
so true.
Men are terrible. We're selfish by nature.
Right.
I don't care what's happening in your life. We are gatherers and hunters by nature. I don't care what.
You want to know something? This is crazy. Okay, so My dad actually stole someone's boat because he just said, I've never seen them use it. And I was like, I could use that boat. He fucking stole it. He just hooked his truck up to their boat and took it.
I would him and help him. That's the sad thing about it. Listen, I ain't never.
It was like it sat there for 10 years. I'm like, I am taking that boat. He went to the lake with it.
Finders keepers, losers sweepers. They ain't gonna miss it. Right.
Sadly, I would have got out. Like, let me help you hitch this, Mr. Travers.
Oh, we had a grand time on the boat. Don't get me wrong, he's the cap. He wanted a boat. And I think he was just sitting there jealous of this guy's boat for years, you know?
Not a
I said
question.
he never uses it. It's just he got upset enough to just take it with her.
Did the guy ever realize his boat was gone? And
Yeah.
he realized your dad took it?
Yeah, he didn't go to jail or anything. They just kind of laughed it off.
That is great.
They literally just laughed this shit
Best
off.
thing I've heard all day. Most Christopher Columbus black shit I've heard all day.
I mean, he actually cleaned the boat up. It was like rusted, and my father was a mechanic. He actually fixed the boat.
Well, you know what?
There you go.
Maybe Mr. Thomas did him a favor.
He kind of did. He fixed his boat. He did. So, oh god. But anyway, it was like, yeah,
All of the light, rest in peace. Continuing, Mr. Travers.
yeah,
All of the light. You, sir, were the man. Absolutely.
yeah. But I mean, that's just something men do. It's like we want shit when we see it. We just like, I want it. I'm gonna have it. It's mine.
That's how I get when I go to Swag's house, right? I'll be like, he ain't even open.
Oh god,
It ain't open.
so true. I'm sure we have comments, and then we'll do our palate cleanser. Yeah, see your comments.
Go ahead, Swag.
Calvin says, "Hey, my guys, happy wins, and I just want to take my time to say thank y'all for being my daily eye candy." Oh, thank you, Calvin. We appreciate you. Mr. Super says, "Hey, gentlemen, great to see you leaving the Czech Republic and heading to France today." All right, France, world traveler. Go ahead, Mr. Super. Swag, I'm the same. People confuse my kindness for weakness when it's actually a sign of strength. I choose to walk in life with joy, and it has served me well. Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I like that.
And Calvin says, "Yes, sir. Take that damn bra off. Let them titties breathe."
I mean, it's just that is. Yeah. Well, for me, it might be a belt. Sometimes, yeah. It's like,
or when you decide to wear your jock strap at the bar, and by the time you get home, you better take that thing off.
let the balls breathe. Let it swing.
Right. Let the balls breathe.
all right. So let's do our first palette cleanser. F1, I guess. The video. I think you go to vertical mode or scene. Go to scene 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say go to scene 2 first. Yeah, there you go.
Just trust me, you'll be fine. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another.
The entire world seems to be asking the same question. Where is Spider-Man?
Okay, Thickums. Oh, I've seen this one. Yeah.
I know, right?
Come on, legs. Come on, cheeks.
So some of the soccer players be thick. They be thick. I saw some with some booty.
With a C with 3 C's. Thick.
saw someone with like titties and cakes. I was like, ooh, I did not know they got built that way.
I know that's right.
All right, so let's go to video 2.
All right.
Two.
You know what happens when an entire group of people worships one religion? It never feels like a religion. It just feels like the truth.
This guy is going to try and convince us that science is a religion, and he's going to use a lot of rhetorical tricks that sound deep until you think about them. His first point I agree with. When people all worship the same religion, it does feel like the truth. Humans can absolutely become tribal and dogmatic, especially when it comes to matters of politics, religion, ideologies, and even scientific institutions in some cases. But that doesn't make science a religion. It's a process for testing ideas. Religion is generally built around revealed truths that can't change. I mean, a lot of religious texts were written thousands of years ago, and they cannot change over time. Imagine if hospitals treated patients with what doctors knew 2,000 years ago and couldn't change.
And you're also taught that for something to be true, you must observe it and collect the data on it. But really, you're measuring metrics that we made up with measuring systems that we made up, using numbers that we made up, and calculating it all with equations that we made up.
Sounds profound until you think about it. Symbols are invented, yes, but the underlying reality is not. Math is an invention, yes, but it's an invention that maps onto reality with absurd predictive precision. We know solar eclipses out to 1,000 years. We've landed spacecraft on Mars that are rolling around looking at rocks. We have GPS satellites that correct for special and general relativity. The equipment that this video was recorded and uploaded to the internet with only works if we have an extremely accurate understanding of electromagnetism. That is not faith.
See, if you question science, it's not called heresy. You're called dumb.
Questioning science is literally a part of science. I publish papers, and part of that process is other scientists literally critiquing your science, your methods, your conclusions. You're trying to poke holes in it, and oftentimes it makes the paper better.
Pythagoras, Newton, Einstein, they were all religious, and they would never say that science is more true.
Newton was deeply religious. He also believed in many pseudosciences, like alchemy. Many things that we now consider to be completely debunked nonsense. This actually proves the opposite of the point that the guy is trying to make. We don't just believe what Newton says because he's Newton and he's a god. No, we teach the things that he was right about through demonstrable evidence, verifiable testing, and we throw everything else out because it's not about him. It's about the ideas standing up to testing. Einstein's another great example with his theory of relativity, but he was wrong about some important things in quantum mechanics. And we do not just believe what he said about quantum mechanics because he's Einstein. We know what he was wrong about, and nobody thinks that. I mean, this is the opposite of religious thinking. This is the opposite of a religious leader. It just is. You should absolutely be skeptical. I mean, any scientist is skeptical, but you should especially be skeptical when somebody is telling you to ignore the results of repeated observable testing and evidence in favor of something that they think or feel.
So, this kind of got me thinking about like why people do these kind of videos. And ultimately, if you live in a capitalist system, you know that it's in some way to make money. The question is, how do they make their money by doing this? And I read, I think it was the Storm is Coming, the conspiracy theory about everything, talking about QAnon.
Right.
And basically what I got away, took away from the book is that a lot of people who go down these rabbit holes use conspiracy theories as a litmus test for gullibility. Basically, if I can, speak fancy and sound smart and convince you that something isn't real when there's clear evidence against that, I'm certainly able to get you on some sort of pyramid scheme, about essential oils and how, you shouldn't put dyes in whatever, because we shouldn't say this is a conservative thing. This is, the goopsters on the left as well, right? Like they have their own pyramid schemes based on like purity. It's almost it's a sort of science denying cult behavior in a sense, right? And the questions, I'm going to go ahead and, if you would play the video, the G2 2, I think it is. I'll talk about it.
This is a case study in a specific rhetorical move, using the language of epistemology to hollow out the practice of it. He's running a reframing operation. The goal isn't to prove science is a religion, it's to install doubt by making the two feel equivalent. Once equivalence lands, the listener is free to choose based on preference, tribal loyalty, or comfort. The move's named linguistic relativism as destabilization. Numbers we made up, equations we made up. Technically true at the symbol level, strategically dishonest at the application level. He's collapsing the distinction between the map and what the map accurately predicts. Dr. Tyler's response is the right one. GPS satellites correcting for relativity aren't running on faith. Credential laundering, invoking Newton and Einstein as religious men to imply science and religion share equal epistemic authority. But as Tyler points out, we don't teach Newton because he was Newton. We teach what survived testing. That's the opposite of how religious authority works. If you question science, you're called dumb, mirrors the heresy framing. But peer review is institutionalized questioning. The critique is built into the process. Questions to ask yourself when someone sounds smart but something feels off. What would I have to stop believing if this argument is true, and who benefits from that? Is the sophistication of the language proportional to the strength of the evidence being offered? What's the ask? And does the epistemological argument conveniently arrive just before it?
Yeah, I think the question is, how does this make them money? It's always a great question. I was always trying to sell you bullshit. It's like, for one, it could just be the attention. I remember somebody, I was just like, how dumb do you have to be? But, whatever. Someone thought that the sun wasn't real. It's like, the sun's not real because...
I've heard that before.
I know. Like, how dumb do you have to be? But... Right. And he was like, look, I can see through it. He's pointing his camera at the sun. And so it's destroying his camera pixels, right? And so he thinks like the sun is hollow because his phone is dying because he's pointing it directly at the sun. I just like lovely logic. I love it. But yeah,
I'm sure, pretty sure in the White House was like, can we like use bleach or point light at something? Can't we kill?
But I'm just saying, the next thing, I'm sure they have some testosterone boosting supplements they can sell you.
Oh,
because you are fucking moron.
I'm sorry. I am working on a story, guys. I'm working on a story. So before Poopy Pan, like deep in. He made a counting. He said it for years. If I ever ran for president, I will run as a Republican because they are dumb. So he kept testing the water. And as time went on, they became more uneducated and more to his forming and shaping.
It was true.
Mistake. He was in good mental acuity.
Remember, he was the birther guy.
Absolutely.
Like he had his own conspiracy theory, and that was kind of his scrap into politics. People have said that he decided to run for president after he was roasted at the Correspondence Center, but the reason he was roasted was because he was doing 10 minutes on his conspiracy theory bullshit, and he was ripping it to shreds. And it didn't matter because it actually, for whatever reason, the people that are so gullible loved the fact that Obama hated him. You know what I'm saying? Like if you became Obama's enemy, that made you, a stand-up guy in their viewpoint, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it played into his hands strangely enough.
Last night here in Georgia, because last night was the night the lights went out in Georgia. Barry Jones, whatever his name is, lost in spectacular fashion.
But put up the overlay Q2, and then we'll take comments from the audience. So here are the questions that were brought up in the video. We don't have to do any of them directly. I just wanted to bring them up again.
Okay.
But let's see what our audience says.
Nothing new from the audience.
Okay, let's do our palate cleanser then. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see.
You have to switch first.
All right, keep forgetting it.
Ай да Патрик, ай да молодец, в форме себя поддерживает, не ленится. Не то, что барсик. Работай. Чудо
You get a treadmill for T'Challa.
Workout. Yeah. That's T'Challa jumping on my countertops. Okay,
It's a puppy storm.
Now.
No, they were mad ass serious. That's crazy.
All right, so do we have any comments? Clear those.
After that.
All right, go to video 3. Oh my god, that was too funny.
People think being detached is like this coveted state, and I get why that word is used, because I think what people are talking about is a state of feeling like sovereign and unaffected or less affected by the impressions of other people. Do whatever you want, but I don't feel like you actually have to practice being detached. I feel like a better use of your time would actually be paying attention to what you allow yourself to give a damn about. People can give you all of their shit to give a damn about. You can give a damn about what they think about you, what their expectations of you are. And giving a damn about that is wasting your energy, not theirs. That's your attachment right there. I'm kind of picking on the word detached because I'm seeing people try to identify with it. There is a different energy around I'm trying to be more detached compared to I'm trying to be more intentional with how I spend my time. I'm curious how you interpret those distinctions.
Yeah. So I guess go ahead and play the Google video. I'm going to talk about it.
Detachment as a goal can become its own trap. Chasing the absence of feeling is still chasing something. It keeps you oriented toward other people, just in reverse. The reframe the speaker offers is subtle but important. Intentionality is generative. Detachment is reactive. When you say you want to be detached, what are you actually trying to escape? And is escaping it the same as being free from it? Is there a difference between not caring what someone thinks and not needing their validation to move? When you choose what to focus your energy on, what values are doing the choosing, and how often do you actually name them? Can you be deeply invested in something and still not be controlled by the outcome? What does that look like in practice?
Yeah. So this is kind of like the theme of some of these videos today is sort of the balance between, are you attached to being detached? If that makes sense. Because the idea of being unaffected by other people is because you're busy focusing on what matters to you. And hopefully what matters to you is self-directed rather than in response to something outside of yourself. Now, obviously, you got to eat and pay bills, but other things, that is outward directed. That's obviously just survival. But beyond survival, are you controlled by, other people's intentions, expectations, mores or whatever, like when I think about some of the issues that men have being vulnerable is a response to the environment that they're in, right? Because to paint your fingernails is going to give you the kind of attention you don't want, right? Mm-hmm. Or that idea from Swag's thing, which sounded crazy, buying your friend a birthday cake or saying, what if someone did do that? Like, yeah.
How dare you? How dare you buy me a birthday cake?
Yeah. So I don't know. I just sometimes think that it's weird when, I don't know if it's a difference, just sort of a different sort of attitude, right? Because being unbothered is a personality trait, right? Kind of like some people at least want to appear unbothered, Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a coveted state of being when, like, I don't know, people pay to give a damn about things. So it's kind of the idea of having a therapist is like they're paid to give a damn about what you say. It's like giving a damn actually matters. So
especially the new generation, they really think being aloof and unbothered is a cool thing.
I think that's I think that's like a part of our development as we detach from our parents is, independence above most things, right? We care more about, forging our own path when, that's just the same thing everyone does. You think you're forging your own path? Like every one of your ancestors probably did the same thing. Sorry. Just saying, like, we all went through this. Like, that's what you do when you're a teenager and you turn,
The interesting thing about it is I know some adults who really think, oh, I want to be aloof and carry, expensive bags and then they place more value on those material things.
Right.
Yeah.
Those great relationships. Get snap out of it. Get a hold of yourself. Right?
Okay, share.
Do you have the image for the questions?
Yes.
We'll put that up and then we'll check to see if we have any comments.
No comments yet.
Okay. Let's do our palate cleanser then. Number 3.
All right. Hit the thing first. And then play it. Wow, that is wild.
Insane, I know, right?
Wow. Damn.
That's so ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
If I didn't know any better, I would swear this is AI.
Oh god.
So that rock right there is supposed to be on this side of the fence.
Oh.
But apparently he turned sideways and went through there, which is my little cut through for guests to be able to walk through. But he figured it out. So now I've got to pick him up and carry him back up here.
Ooh, he's a big boy too. Look at him making a break for it.
He's chunky. He's a chunky boy.
No!
Run, please, run.
He's running for freedom.
I don't want to go back. No.
He's so cute.
Ooh, he a big boy.
He is big.
Not really that bad, except for the fact that he crawled through dog poop, which I now have on my hand. So obviously I need to put a rock right there so that he doesn't do that again.
Damn it.
Good times. So I fixed that with a rock, and that pissed him off. So then he did this. So now he's locked up in his house.
You ain't gonna stop me. You ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna get over that fence. Who gonna check me, bro?
That is definitely who gonna check me, bro.
He's a big old boy, though. I mean,
That's
he got.
funny.
I know turtles.
You. Not gonna stop me. Boom.
All right, so we're on which one now? Are we 4?
We're on number 4.
Okay, let's do video 4.
All right.
Straight men are being taught to fear the one group of people who actually figured out how to keep men alive. I'm Isaac, a PhD candidate trying to bring social work into the 21st century and building worlds that love us back. June is both Pride Month and Men's Mental Health Month. which I don't think is a coincidence. You've probably seen the whole male loneliness epidemic thing. Online, it almost always turns into a conversation about women. Like men are lonely because of feminism happened or because women get too picky on the apps. But when you look at the actual research on why men are struggling, women aren't really the variable. The thing the research keeps landing on is masculinity. There's a big Australian study, almost 14,000 men, and the guys who most believed a man should be stoic and handle everything himself were the ones at the highest risk of suicide. The APAs found similar stuff. The more rigidly a guy performs masculinity, the worse his mental health tends to get. And a big piece of it is pretty specific. Most men get taught they only have one acceptable place to bring their feelings, and that's a girlfriend or a wife. Their friendships are usually built around doing an activity together, not around actually talking. So when the relationship ends or the activity stops, all that support just vanishes. This is where pride comes in for me. Queer people have been building a different version of this for a long time, mostly because we had to. Chosen family. Friendships where you actually say I love you and mean it, where guys hug each other and check in for real. And there's solid research that having that kind of support network protects people from depression and suicide. So when straight men and DL trade get told that queerness threatens masculinity, I think it's backwards. If anything, we worked out how to keep each other alive, and any guy is welcome to copy it.
Yeah.
They always got to throw DL trade into a statement. What they got?
But no, I mean it is funny that it is a projection, I guess, the fear of gay people, and when actually, there's a thing or two that you can learn from gay people, like they were just saying. We actually kind of brought this up with the president of the Heritage Foundation and his college thesis paper, talking about the ways in which enslaved people survived had to do with this idea of loose networks and chosen family. People calling them someone auntie or cousin when they had absolutely no relationship to them, but it allowed them to have a shared mutual aid system that, because actual family members could just be sold away, right? Like, so you had to create family where you could. And so I think it's kind of funny, the idea that men are experiencing such horrible mental health outcomes. One is so much worse in the United States because of the fact that we have firearms, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are experiencing depression may not recognize how depressed they are until they take some sort of substance, drinking or drugs or whatever. Might even be sex, you might just find yourself in a mental space that you believe that you can solve with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why it's such a problem in the United States, particularly with white men, but that's something else. I forget. I've read it, but I can't remember exactly why it affects white men more than black men, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just
another thing is like men are always taught like if you're sick, you don't need to go to the doctor. You'll be all right. You're a man. You just need to just bear with it. And so I think that does play a lot into like even with mental health, like that. You going to the psychiatrist, man. You don't need no psychiatrist. You ain't crazy. You just on hard time. You just need to just buck it up, take it like a man. It's always that same kind of, you're not allowed to have any feelings. You're not allowed to feel anything. You just need to be stoic and rigid and just, buck up, buttercup, and yeah, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it is. It's funny, like how often that happens where, there's something that the dominant, what do you say? The privileged group could actually learn something from the ways in which we navigate oppression, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like once, instead of being upset that you're losing these privileges, maybe actually learn something from your neighbors and your friends about like, finding independence of other people's opinions. Because I think that's really what it really comes down to, is that men feel trapped, or maybe they are actually indoctrinated into the patriarchy. I don't know, but I think a lot of times it's just the fear of what people will think, what it will be the end of, and obviously it makes its way into, DL men, for instance, who can't even begin to accept the idea that they would ever be openly gay. Like, it's not even a thought. Like, no, it's kind of like on the same level as becoming a cannibal, right? It's just like outrageous, like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna start eating people, right? What are you talking about? But yeah, but it's just mainly due to the fact that their experience of what is acceptable is limited by the people they surround themselves with and sort of interactions they have with those people, right? Like you said, men's friends tend to be centered around the activity that they're engaged in.
Right.
They're going to talk about the stats of their favorite player, who's the best, who's not, who's going to win. Even gay men, we're talking about, the queens, who's going to win.
Right. Who's going to win Drag Race, bitch? Right.
Okay. It's about the shared activity and not necessarily about like, have you been sleeping, since XYZ happened,
Right.
Have you talked to anyone about what happened, blah, 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 like their friends are not having those conversations. And they said, typically it'll be a wife or a girlfriend. I think also family members fall into that. Fathers, mothers, brothers, like close family members for men can be, unless they're the problem, of course.
Right.
But you know what I mean. Yeah. So, did we play the Gemini questions?
No, we did not.
Let's play that. Let's play the Gemini. Is it number 4?
Yes.
The video lands on something most conversations about male loneliness carefully avoid. The problem isn't the absence of connection opportunities. It's the architecture of masculinity itself that makes certain kinds of connection feel forbidden. Most men are operating with a single point of failure support system. One relationship, usually romantic, carries the entire emotional load. Queer communities, largely out of necessity, built something different. Chosen family, friendships with explicit emotional stakes, the practice of saying, I love you, and meaning it between people who aren't sleeping together. If most men only feel safe being vulnerable with a romantic partner, what happens to all that weight when the relationship ends? And where has it been going? Is the resistant straight men have the queer friendship models actually about values? Or is it about what other men will think of them for crossing that line? What would it mean to build a friendship where you could tell the truth about how you're actually doing? And what stopped you from having that? If queer communities develop chosen family because biological family wasn't safe, what does it say that straight men might need the same thing for different reasons?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of questions. I think, what was it, number 4? Do you have the questions, the overlay?
Yes.
I don't know if they crammed all those questions into it. I had tried to get the AI to. It's a lot of questions. I don't know if any of those stand out to you. But we always talk about masculinity. There's obviously positive aspects of masculinity. I don't want to hate on it. I love being a masculine person.
I'll take on one of those because actually, this one about what would it mean to build a friendship where you could tell the truth about how you're actually doing and what stopped you from having that. I have what I consider I call it my fam. These are people that I work with.
Yeah.
But we've just kind of developed like this really cool friendship, and it's like I really consider them more like my family than my friends and stuff like that. And they're both straight, and and they know that I'm gay, and it's like but we have kind of developed this closeness that like we can talk about whatever we want to talk about, and we know that there's not going to be any judgment. We know that there's not going to be any, I don't really want to talk about this because it's really personal. Because we talk about things that like really impact us, and I think the reason we probably don't have those conversations with other parties because like, well, I don't know what they're gonna think about me, and they may judge me. Like I'm sure my buddy Joe, like he probably has some things in his head that's like, well, if I talk to my straight brothers about this, they're gonna clown me for thinking these things and stuff like that. But it's like, he knows that like, I'm not gonna judge him on that. It's like dude, whatever you got on your mind, say it, because I think that's important. And so I do think the fear of ridicule is what keeps a lot of people from like having, those relationships where they feel like they can talk about this stuff and not get clowned for it, because they know some people just be like, man, that's stupid, that's dumb, that's zesty, that's spicy, that's gay, that's stupid. Like, come on, get over yourself.
It's true, and I think that to a certain degree, it matters that your friends are on the same wavelength as you about things. I mean, I don't, because I can remember, being in certain groups that is just like, I'm here because I am, what to say, trying to force something, rather than, instead of it just flowing. And that's always kind of is almost worse than just spending time on your own and figuring out your own, working on yourself kind of deal. Like actually see it as an opportunity to grow, pursue whatever it is that your interests are. So instead of seeing it as, wasting your time trying to force some sort of connection with people who, just don't align with you. So, do we have any comments or questions?
Nope.
All right. Well, what are we on? Number 4?
Yes, we are.
All right. So is it switch? Boop-boom.
It's big arms, big hands,
big handsy, big Iceland. I think he's from Iceland. I don't know, Reykjavik.
Jaguars are actually my favorite animal, as you can see why. They're super sweet and loving. Oh my goodness. I love you guys. Good little babies. What are we looking at? Oh.
T'Challa would never.
Pick it up. Yes, pick up the beat.
Okay. On your way to the physical therapy, do we got clothing? You thought you got clothing you can drop off, right? Can you drop them off?
You mean pick the clothes up and drop the clothes off?
Huh?
Pick clothes up and drop clothes off?
You on the phone?
No.
T'Challa does that every day.
Yeah.
How about taking the bra off? Let that
take it off. Breathe. Let him breathe.
I am so here for thick Sean T. Good Lord. Good night.
Oh no, so beautiful. Anyway, we're on number 5.
Oh, we have a comment.
We have a comment.
Says, that person with the big hands, his nickname was Sasquatch. Is that really his nickname?
I don't know. I can't pronounce it. Like he's Icelandic, and it's one of those. Where's this like a bunch of consonants? Like, yeah, I don't know.
People say
But yeah, he has ridiculous hands.
Oh lordy.
Okay, so I guess we're on 5, right? Yeah.
After 11 years of teaching, something that I stand by is that accountability and grace can coexist. I find that too often we are trying to exist on one end of the spectrum with hyper accountability or a large amount of grace that removes accountability. And if we're going to build our future generations to be well-rounded individuals who are emotionally intelligent, critical thinkers, socially conscious people, we have to allow accountability and grace to coexist. One without the other is just doing them a gross disservice.
Yeah, I remember thinking about this video that someone posted about reconciliation forms of community justice, for instance. Say, for instance, someone does something to your car, wrecks your car, or even does some sort of violence towards you. Rather than turning them into the police, there's this like community board that would, sort of do like a mock trial, I guess. Instead of putting them through the justice system, they would agree to some sort of binding agreement to make recompense for whatever they did. Like if they stole something to repay it, or do something in response for what they did, as a response to the fact that that Black people, when they enter the criminal justice system, are just given sentences that are far outweigh those of white people. It's almost just like, for some people in some districts, these sorts of things are almost like rogue networks, you know what I mean, of people who are doing this, because I don't think like the local police necessarily agree with it all the time. But I was reading about it. It was just kind of crazy, because it was kind of, they were trying to basically prevent people from entering the criminal justice system, which is incredibly biased and sends people down this path that is like raising criminals, right? Like once you go to prison, it's like you're being sent down this road where it's hard for you to ever find a job again. You're basically going to find yourself in environments which shape you into more criminality. Like it's such a well-known, ingrained path that people just call it like a pipeline, right? They call it the what does it call it? The poverty to prison pipeline, basically, whatever. It's a pretty well-known thing. Anyway, but obviously sometimes those boards kind of go too far, right? Because sometimes people need to face the consequences for what they did, even though you're going to be put into a system that's unfair. It's kind of like that system exists for a reason, despite the fact that it's clearly not built for us in mind. It's what we have in some cases, like if you actually need protection from someone, or someone who's not going to follow some binding agreement, right? So I was just kind of caught up with one of those like 10-part stories on TikTok of someone dealing with one of those boards, because I've never heard of that before. It's just like,
Now I'm gonna tell you, you come over my hood, you do something. I'm calling. I'm calling the white.
Yeah.
I mean, like I hear that, and then like I know, like in some communities in DC, today I'm like, oh, go see the alderman. Want to do this. Bitch, please, you done broke my shit. You done stole my shit. Jail. And I understand the prison pipeline is full of us, from school, graduating from school and going to immediately to jail. I get that, but my belief, big swag about is that I think like accountability starts with the parents. Like if you beat an ass, they not gonna do that shit. Let me tell you something. Low key, I am still scared of my mother. And she been dead for almost 20 years. Because you know what? When the one time I tried to steal something, he beat me so unmerciful and told me, you think that's something to wait till the white man gets you. I was scared. I never stole anything except for swag. A day in my life.
Oh god.
Yeah, corporal punishment works. It doesn't even have to be that severe. I remember being punished for things, like not being fair or not sharing with my sister, or I think we as a society need to start putting some of this shit on the parents, because what the parents are now doing is sending them babies to school and let the teacher raise them, and then they come home, they get an iPad and a sugar filled, preservative filled dinner. Their mama on the couch watching Love and Hip Hop Miami. City is of choice, and I mean it's just like I understand that, but we need to do something before to like the community board situation.
Yeah.
And I think it inherently begins with the parental guidance. Malcolm, at a certain point, all Miss Travers had to do was look at you and stop doing what you were doing. Now, Swag, I couldn't imagine your mother being disciplinarian at all. I'm sure she was, but I couldn't imagine she was so sweet. And think your mama from Virginia, I know she whooped your ass up and down the block. I'm sure that was. But I mean, what I'm saying? But I like, when are we going to, especially as black, when you're raising a black male, like, when are we going to be like, it is not okay to let a tablet raise your kid or a computer, because those worlds out there are full of adults and full of somebody story of how like these right-wing terrorist groups are recruiting 12 and 13-year-old little white men and teaching them how to hate people of color and doing things. Yeah. I agree with that, but the other thing is we also need to let it start beginning at home to,
Yeah. Let's see what Gemini said, and then we'll do the questions.
Accountability and grace aren't opposites. They're partners. One without the other produces damage in different directions. Hyper accountability stops being about repair and starts being about punishment. People learn to hide mistakes rather than work through them because exposure leads only to exile. On social media, public shaming often functions less as a path to repair and more as a performance of someone else's virtue. The goal shifts from restoration to destruction. At its extreme, nothing is ever paid off. The ledger stays open indefinitely. In a classroom, this looks like a student who makes a serious mistake, gets labeled, gets filed, and learns that honesty is dangerous. The community feels cleansed. The kid gets worse. When grace becomes cover, grace without accountability asks the harmed person to absorb the cost of someone else's behavior in the name of peace. It protects the institution more than the individual. At its criminal extreme, this is the priest quietly moved to another parish, the coach whose pattern gets explained away, the executive whose settlement includes a non-disclosure. Forgiveness without reckoning doesn't rehabilitate. It relocates. It gives harm new geography and a fresh set of targets. In a classroom, it's the student who bullies repeatedly and keeps getting another chance, while the kids absorbing his behavior get nothing. The empathy is asymmetrical. The grace is, functionally, permission. Two things are both required: genuine acknowledgement of harm and genuine belief in the capacity for change. She also draws a distinction between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. Hyper accountability produces shame. Grace without accountability produces silence. The goal is guilt, specific, actionable, and survivable. Questions. Is the accountability being asked for proportional to the harm or to how the community feels about the harm? When you extend grace, who benefits most? The person who caused harm or the person who experienced it? When a pattern repeats after grace has been extended, at what point does continued grace become participation in the harm? Is the person being held accountable being invited into repair or simply punished until the community feels satisfied?
Yeah. So, yeah, something that comes up a lot. Do you have the overlay, I guess, with the questions?
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin, but oh god, because there's so many it triggers so many things with like when we litigate like true crime stories that have happened, when it's something like a celebrity did this or that, and it becomes like an allegory for what is like acceptable and not, and people get in the comment section and just start saying some of the most wild shit I've ever heard. It's entertaining, but it's also fucking disturbing because, obviously with it being online, people, I think they're able to say more of what they actually think, or they without the consequences of being found out or whatever. They're able to at least trigger other people with ideas that they may not fully hold. I think that's its own kind of cheap bullshit, but I don't know, because I think a lot of times people just are chaos agents. They don't really believe in half the shit they're saying, but it's just like,
I think they get behind those keyboards and they become weekend warriors or whatever time they
yeah.
And again, but we live in a society that people are undoubtedly gullible enough to do whatever the person is suggesting is now being done. But again, for me, it goes back to, my mother used to say, if such and such gonna jump over a bridge, you gonna do it too, dumbass? You know what I mean? It was just one of those things like, don't do. Be a leader, not a follower. He was very, very adamant, and put your mark on the world. Be a leader. Be understood. Be heard. Let your voice be heard. Don't be a sheep. Shout out to bougie people, but don't sheep, you know what I mean? But it's that's where I kind of fell in that. But Malcolm, you're absolutely right. It's these chaos agents. It's like this. I tell y'all the Beyonce story. So I was reading this story online that Harvard created this course around Cowboy Carter, and the crux of the course was about Black people and minorities, being shut out of places, and how like the welfare system did them wrong, but it wasn't designed for them, and blah blah blah. Well, this person, all these comments are, well, good for Beyonce. I'm glad her thought process is being carried forward, and and people are like, oh, good job, Queen Bee, and so. Here go this one bitch. Y'all determined to make this bitch a god. Y'all determined, y'all determined to make her Queen Bee, and so I said, who did it to the baby? Huh? Who did it? I think
no.
Yeah, and I told her, I said, you get up here, you saw 50,000 comments of way to go, Beyonce. Good, we need more white people, we need more Black content, this, that. But I see you, boo. Come on, I see you want to send me some pictures. Come on, baby. Come on. Because we see you. Like, you don't have to be the booger in the nose.
Yeah.
You don't
have like to be the contrarian, yeah.
Yeah. If you hate Beyonce, turn away, because she's not going to lose $1 billion because you don't like her.
Right. Yeah.
Because you are.
It's amazing how many people I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of bad. Like whenever, like I said, I'm genuinely always finding out new things on Swag Show or on Cream Show, or it's true. Like I just don't pay attention to it. I don't think I'm missing much. Like if it comes into my view, but yeah, it's so easy to not be bothered by things because you're just bothered by other things. There's always something to be bothered over. Like I'm just bothered over other shit.
And I say this to anyone at all: is if you don't like something,
yeah,
don't jump into the fray. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
especially if you're in somebody else's fandom. This is clearly a thread about how marvelous Beyonce is. Why would you do that? And then you're so now to end this. So now other Black women, I was like, bitch, you the reason. Now they're blaming this one Black woman for Kamala Harris not being elected. So at the end of all that, I said, see, look what you did. Now you ready to go unalive yourself. You started this.
Oh, God.
And they're going to dock shoot. Because now it turns into, I said, they're going to dock shoot. They're going to find your children and hit them with oranges. I mean, this is not going to end well.
Well, I think on that, do we have any comments?
Yes, we did get a few comments.
Okay.
Kevin
I
says,
swear my girl Sean T has gotten so damn fine over the years, and his white man thinks so too.
They do videos together sometimes.
Yeah, it's me, Randy. Do the time for the crime. You are from Virginia.
What's up, Randy?
Hey.
Oh, brother. Woo! Yo, Mr. Galvin, like to say good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining the program as always. They become keyboard assassins. They know damn well they ain't about to bust a grape. If they said those things to the person in real life, right? Because they know they're gonna get their ass whooped up on. Come on, Cletus. You're gonna walk over, but you're gonna limp back. Come on, Cletus. That's it.
So I think we're gonna go to Patreon in a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit about the other shows before we end with another fun video. I guess first we'll just put up the Patreon logo. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Yeah, become a patron. Yeah. We have an after show. We also have adult groups, and we have book groups. Got a couple books. Did I put the books here?
I don't.
Yeah.
You have that.
So there's one. So I talked a little bit about this one yesterday. It's in the or actually I haven't downloaded the book yet, but it'll be for our club members. It's an excellent book. If you ever were considering quitting moving or quitting a job or a relationship or whatever, or you just interested in psychology, I think it's just fascinating. One of the more interesting ones had to do with like the psychology of, investors, and when people are picking stocks or making portfolios. One of the things that she mentioned in here, which is really fascinating, is how much information will go into buying something, but not in selling it. Like people kind of instinctively start selling when it goes down, even if the overall expected value of a stock is still high. Oftentimes people do not think in terms of, we're sort of averse about losses, and so we make bad decisions because of that. It's a great book. And did I put the other one in here? I don't think I did. But anyway, we also have a bunch of shows. Let me see if I got. So we got Two Grooms and a Pod. We re-air. Of course, on Friday nights, Dr. Pookie and Devon cover everything kink and love and relationships and get drunk while doing it, of course. And we also have the Black News, also known as the Saturday Sit Down, and Black Joy in the conversation. And Sundays, Sit Down with the Nerds. That is a talk about movies, games, anime, all things nerd. And we also have a Mailbag Monday show every Monday at 4 p.m. We are talking about almost anything. Obviously, we're looking for your questions. Advice is just, what should or could be done. It does not require actually any expertise. So we will just give you advice if you ask for it, and also on Monday evening, the M3 mixtape, Everything Music, with Greg and Randy.
Well, as Swag, Malcolm as Swag says, Greg goes and change shirts and come back.
You do have to have your wardrobe change. And of course, on Tuesdays at 7, we'll find out what all the groups are doing. Of course, what's happening on the interwebs, what T'Challa is watching, and what his mom is saying. All the good stuff. And John is also doing his clapbacks online. If you want to see it in real time, you can follow him on Facebook and Instagram.
In real time, trust me.
In real time.
John is a menace.
And if you like the audios, go subscribe to us on the, all that good stuff. So we got another palate cleanser, and then we'll take questions, and then we'll go to Patreon. See, palate cleanser number 5.
Okay.
Switch. Yeah, there we go.
These are others' words about you. Loner, selfish, single-minded, arrogant, aloof, relentless, obsessed, ruthless.
Sereng Semut is an Indonesian bakery and cafe known for its authentic gelato. While it's often compared to ice cream, gelato is made quite differently. It typically contains more milk, less air, and is churned at a slower speed. It's also served at a slightly warmer temperature than traditional ice cream. That combination creates a denser, silkier texture and allows the flavors to come through more intensely.
I need to get to the gym. Oh, that nigga got beheaded at LA Fitness. That was like a guillotine. Hey, yo, I would hate to be found unalive during Pride Month with my ass tooted in the air with some Chuck Taylors on after rigor mortis kicked in. That's fucked up.
Oh no. Wait.
That's me. That's so.
Oh god, I've been doing a bunch of those videos, but yeah. So we're gonna go to Patreon. We got one more topic, and of course we'll just take sit around and chat for a little bit. But we'll see you on the next episode.
Where's the video? Oh, here it is. Okay.